Im Namen des Volkes. Erstens.
Karlsruhe, the residence of justice, the seat of the Federal Constitutional Court.
Absatz 1 in Verbindung mit Artikel 2 Absatz 2 Satz 1 des Grundgesetzes unvereinbar.
Join us for an exciting look behind the scenes. Discover the Federal Constitutional Court. The Basic Law, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Germany, defines the interaction of the constitutional organs. 5 constitutional organs were created by the fathers and mothers of the Basic Law in 1949. 4 of them have their seats in Berlin. 1 of them resides in Karlsruhe, the Federal Constitutional Court. All state organs are obliged to observe the Basic Law. Its observance is controlled by the Federal Constitutional Court. The Federal Constitutional Court reviews, upon application, the acts of all state entities that enact laws, execute laws, and adjudicate. The Federal Constitutional Court has 2 functions.
Bürgergericht sind wir deswegen.
We are a citizens' court because it is our duty to protect the citizens. In Germany, citizens can address complaints directly to the Federal Constitutional Court. They can lodge constitutional complaints when they believe that the state has violated their fundamental rights. We examine whether this is the case, and if we reach the conclusion that the state has breached the Constitution, we void the law that violates the Basic Law.
Constitutional complaints account for the vast majority of the Federal Constitutional Court's work. Apart from this, the court, within the constitutional order, decides disputes between state organs. The 16 justices of the Federal Constitutional Court sit in 2 senates that possess equal status. In chambers, 3 justices review whether the applications are admissible. To ease their workload, each justice has several judicial clerks for drafting and research. All in all, about 260 persons work at the court. Half of the Federal Constitutional Court justices are elected by the Bundestag. The other half is elected by the Bundesrat. Qualified majority requirements ensure a high degree of legitimation of the justices.
The justices have very different social and professional backgrounds. Some of my colleagues were judges at federal courts before. A few justices came from the political sphere. A few are professors of law. These different persons contribute their different experiences of life and their legal assessments to our discussions.
A justice at the Federal Constitutional Court must be at least 40 years old and a lawyer or a professor of law. The term of office is 12 years. Re-election is not permissible. The justices are independent. They review both federal and state legislation, the acts of the governments, and the decisions of the regular courts to find whether they are compatible with the Basic Law. This system of checks and balances is one of the bedrocks of the rule of law. On average, the Federal Constitutional Court deals with 6,700 cases every year. Which are the stages of a constitutional complaint at the Federal Constitutional Court? A chamber composed of 3 justices decides whether a constitutional complaint is admitted for decision. The chambers decide which cases are passed on to the senates and which can be decided unanimously by the chamber. Senate proceedings are prepared by a reporting justice.
Before deliberation, all members of the Senate receive what we call an opinion, a document which unfolds all legal issues that are raised in a case, and which deals with and presents all material that exists about these issues, so that all members of the Senate are equally well prepared. An opinion often has 400 to 500 pages, plus numerous enclosures, sometimes up to 5,000 or 6,000 pages. This is the material we use for preparing a decision.
Oral hearings take place on rare occasions in cases which are important for the public.
Then we meet here, in the room in which we are talking now, and the parties join us for a legal discussion of the case. Afterwards, we 8 justices deliberate again and then reach a decision.
To grant a constitutional complaint, a majority of 5 justices is required.
And then, the Senate discusses the text of the decision again, sentence by sentence. This is often quite a lengthy and laborious process, but this is what accounts for the quality of the texts. Looking at many of the older decisions, we realize that they have aged quite well. One can still benefit from reading them even 30 years later.
Finally, the day has come. On average, this takes 2 years. The judgment is about to be pronounced.
Das Bundesverfassungsgericht.
What the justices pronounce here is binding on all state authority.